These are crazy chairs. I'm not sure which way to sit.
So these are the best fireside chairs I've had.
I'm gonna move around.
It's got this it's a great one.
I've been looking forward to this conversation all day. Well, actually, no, for months now, since we managed to land you. I think OpenAI is at the center of one of the most pivotal moments in human history, and I'm super keen to dive into it with you. But I just wanted to get one question out of the way. You joined OpenAI about 18 months ago?
Yeah.
I think the valuation of the company then was probably about 50 billion. It's now up to like 500 billion. They're touting a $1 trillion IPO. Why are you here? Why are you not just resting investing?
That's a good idea. All right. So, I mean, same reason why I think you're still at Canva, right? I think this is the...
Great answer.
What a time to be alive, right? I think we're so lucky to be in our primes and yet see the before and after, right? I think this is such a pivotal moment in history, and I think it's just, what a great time to be alive.
Now, for those that don't know much about you, you worked at really pivotal roles at Dropbox and Asana. You led international growth for both those companies. You were there across an amazing rocket ride of growth. OpenAI is now at 800 million users in the space of 3 years, the ChatGPT product, which is just unheard of. No product has done that before. How is this different? Is it somewhat similar to Dropbox and Asana, just with more user growth, or is it just a totally different game?
I think about this a lot because I'm always trying to think what can I apply from the past, and what I'm realizing is that the principles apply, right? I think the principles of PLG still apply, right? We want to get our best products in front of our users, reduce the time to the aha moment, but what's different is the steepness of this curve. And that is something I had never experienced before, right? Usually when you have a technology gets adopted, you have early adopters, and then there's a chasm, and then you have late adopters. I think we just jumped over it, right? We just skipped that. And you go to a company, you see everyone's using it. It's not like the reason why PLG works in the past is because you find a way in, and then you slowly expand, get more personas in. With AI, it's just happening everywhere. And so you see more and more personas using it, using our products, and then there's a geographic piece too, right? ChatGPT, I think we're very lucky. OpenAI was born in San Francisco as a research lab, but when ChatGPT launched, overnight it became a global product, and we became a global company right away. Whereas a lot of Silicon Valley companies, including companies I've been at before, you start in San Francisco, you build for the Bay, you build for the other unicorns, and then slowly gets adopted around the world. For us, it's been everywhere all at once, and so that's why I'm on the plane a lot.
I think it's actually one of the secrets, I think, to Canva's success is that we're based here in Australia, and it's a great place for talent, but it's a small market. We've got 25 million people here. You're never going to build a product that scales to a Google, only thinking in the Australian market. And we thought global from day one. And we made sure that we're in 190 different countries and that we have an experience that feels truly local in all of those countries. And that's what continues to fuel our growth. It's what continues to fuel the amazing community that backs Canva and gets so excited about it and just spreads the word of it. I'm sure you get a lot of that energy as well. You're constantly on the plane. I think you just came from India to get here. What is it like being in all these different countries where AI is rolling out, and where you need to provide a really rich cultural experience as well? I'm sure people using ChatGPT in India are using it very differently to Japan or the US or Australia. So how are you dealing with that real cultural complexity?
Yeah, thank you for that question, because this is one of my favorite parts of my job. Is I get to fly everywhere, talk to governments, talk to developers, talk to creatives, and compare different countries and I get different learnings. And you're totally right. AI is being adopted everywhere, but there are some nuances. and we can learn and take advantage of those nuances to build better product. I'll give you an example because I just came from India, and it's as fresh on my mind. India is super interesting because as a country, the average age is 29, right? US is 39, Japan is 49. And so the number of users in the 18 to 24 age is massive in India and growing. When we looked at usage patterns, what we saw in India was interesting in that we saw that a lot of people were using ChatGPT to learn in that age group. So they're usually in school or higher or universities. And so what we did was we actually went to we actually sent our user researchers to India and actually get on the ground and actually watch and learn how students learn in a market like India. And the user insight there was what students are really going after, and they would ask ChatGPT. They didn't care as much about the answer, right? And this goes into the topics earlier around cognitive offloading, right? What we saw was the students really was asking about the chain of thought, right? People really liked using our reasoning models. They would like actually go through and like kind of see the reasoning pattern. Yep. And so that's how we launched study mode. Ah, okay. Right, which is a mode where you can actually, the model doesn't give you the answer, but it like nudges you like a tutor would. So that's just one of many examples of how we take lessons learned from around the world, and that's what inspires us.
I love that you can still do this amazing research into how users are actually using AI. It's not just this big black box that's some magical model that immediately figures out what every person in the world wants to use. You still need to shape the fundamental experience that people get in every country.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. At the end of the day, you need humans to have that touch.
There is undoubtedly like massive opportunity in AI, and I think one of the things that's most powerful to us is its democratization nature. You can now democratize not just information, you can democratize research, understanding. You can have a PhD in your pocket, I think, as Craig said, for $200 a month. You can democratize action taking and the achievement of goals, which I think is supremely powerful. One of the things, though, that kind of keeps me up at night is, are we furthering the digital divide with this technology? Is people's access to AI evenly distributed, or is it just going to wealthy developed countries that have all the infrastructure in place, and a bunch of other countries are getting left behind?
Our mission of the company is to ensure that the benefits of AGI, right, is spread to everyone in humanity. And so we think about this deeply. I think there's a couple ways we think about it. One is really around partnerships with governments, policymakers, universities, businesses, to really think about how you adopt AI in a responsible way, right? And so we're moving in the right place together. Australia's a great example, right? We're working with companies like Combank, obviously Canva, with Coles, right? And these are all companies that are not thinking about just like the bottom line. The conversations we're having is like, okay, how do we enable, empower, educate even the frontline workers in like Coles, right? So I think there's a partnership there, and that's a big part of the reason why we are expanding our footprint globally, is to build out those partnerships. The other part of how we think about it is through product, and how can AI democratize in a way that we've never seen before the capabilities that might in the past have been for the few. One area that I've been super excited about is the future of voice. And this is an area that we have been developing and investing a lot of time. And you'll see improvements, pretty dramatic improvements, just in the last year with our voice models. As someone who grew up in Hong Kong, right? I grew up speaking Chinese, writing Chinese. I was always like, it always baffled me that if I wanted to type Chinese, I generally have to type English to write Chinese, right? And then you think about it, like most of our digital experiences in the past 2-3 decades has been with this like QWERTY keyboard. I want to know invented that thing, because it's been around for a long time, right? And we can't get off of it. But it is like clearly designed by English speaking, right? And it's really only relevant for Romanized languages. Vast majority of this world do not speak in languages that are Romanized. They're characters, Chinese, Hindi, and such. And so this is where voice comes in, right? I think voice as a new modality, when it's good enough, it will open up a completely new platform for voice native applications. And these will be reaching people who, in the past, they haven't benefited from the digital age, exactly what you talked about, right? So I think about the day when a rural farmer in India can make designs in their natural language, right? With ChatGPT and Canva together. That day is not that far away. And I think when I think about that as part of our mission, that's one of the areas I'm super excited about.
Don't worry, we're working on that as well. So we're there with you. I love that it's probably even more fundamental than most people think. Like being able to access a great intelligence through the desktop app or the website is great, but what you're saying about voice totally opening up technology to, frankly, an audience I barely even thought about, because we're so used to the way that we interact with technology and think that's the way that you need to do it. And voice being the gate to that is just an incredible door opener for me.
Yeah, well, it's just because I talked about rural India, I'm like, it's clear thinking about it. There's this example we have where we're working with a company that in India that is, they basically built a chat bot on OpenAI, but it's to serve farmers in India, right? And they've shown that they can increase the average income of farmers by 24%.
How do they do that?
Right, and what they do in the past, it's like almost like a call center, right? But now with OpenAI, a farmer can take a picture of their land, right? And they will actually come back with advice on like, okay, don't need a fertilizer, you know, what's going on, what kind of pesticide do you need, etc. Imagine that now being available by voice, right? Voice and image only for every farmer. That's be incredible.
Yeah, that is incredible. I think one of the truly unique things about OpenAI is the rapid pace of growth and also the way that you're approaching it. You seem to be in everything. You got Johnny Ive working on hardware. You're doing $100 billion deals for AI infrastructure. You're working with countries at governmental level, which I know very few companies of any size doing that. How's that strategy play out? What's the incentive there for you to get all of Australia using ChatGPT or all of India using it?
We both have really broad missions, and for our mission to come true, we can't do it alone, and so it has to come through partnerships. So we developed the OpenAI for Countries program deliberately to partner with governments to help accelerate that each government's individual idiosyncratic AI strategy, which is different for every country. For some countries, what's top of mind for them is education. Countries like Estonia, like Greece, like they're going all in. They're really thinking about really pushing the needle on thinking about how AI can be embedded and sort of reframe higher education. For some countries, it's around infrastructure. It's thinking about all that's possible with AI. Right? We did a bottoms-up research that showed that in Australia, we can add 142 billion in economic output by 2030 with AI. Now, underlying that, you need a lot of compute. You need a lot of infrastructure.
Craig's going to give it to us,
right?
so that's fine.
Exactly. So you need Craig, right? And we need the government to work together to ensure that there's enough infrastructure. And so this is why we've developed the program. We think, like, it's important to make sure that there's the infrastructure is there, the physical infrastructure is there, and then there's also like I think about like upskilling. Right? I think governments think about this a lot, and we want to think about upskilling in a broad, mass way. And this is why we are in the process of building taking what we've learned on the OpenAI Academy, which is around like our lessons learned from training thousands and thousands of companies to like kind of understand like what's the curriculum we need, right, to teach people how to use AI and do it responsibly. And then we want to think about building a certification program, right, and then even building a jobs market. And we would want to do this in partnership with governments to ensure that the next generation of jobs, of talent, right, are well matched.
In the last couple of minutes we have, I'd love to bring it more local. You're here because OpenAI has opened an office here. It's been quite recent. You said you're onboarding 6 people next Tuesday.
Yeah, we have a few, and then we have like a big batch coming in, and we'll be continuing hiring more and more. We're super excited about Australia. I think that it's a market where we see tremendous pull in AI. I think there's a very pragmatic culture in Australia that this is not. I lived here for a little bit. I helped launch the Dropbox office here, I think 15 years ago. I don't know, it's been a while. But the culture has always been there. Right? It's very progressive and pragmatic. And we see the growth here. The growth in Australia, the user growth has gone, I think it's like 2.5 times since a year ago. So we're seeing a lot of momentum. We're very excited to partner with the government, partner with users, partner with companies like Canva, Combank, Coles, to really think about how do you take advantage of this AI era.
There's been a lot of discussion tonight about what we need to do more of here in Australia. What would you suggest we do? How do we move to the next level of AI adoption, being world-class, world-leading? How can we really make a home for AI here in Australia?
I think in the previous panel, there's a lot of excitement around experimentation, around leaning in. I think if there's one thing I've learned about what drives AI adoption is you have to get your hands dirty. You have to, and not just one time, because AI is constantly changing. You really have to get the tools in people's hands, and they have to try it. It's like that iPhone aha moment, right? But now you have to do it multiple times. So I think this is the mindset, and I see this in Australia already. So I would say we want to see that accelerate even more. Don't be afraid to just try. I think in the AI era, you also have to be more comfortable failing as well. All right, you got to throw away code, but at the same time, now you know that it's very easy to write code again, right? And so I think that mentality is actually very, very well suited from my experience living in Australia for a bit, and I'm excited to see what happens here.
Last question: what's your favorite prompt to use in ChatGPT?
Okay, this is a bit revealing. Obviously, we have 1,000 people in research, and they are the pride and joy of our company.
Yeah.
And whenever they update their papers and such, I have to say my comprehension level is probably at 20%. So my most often prompt, especially now that I have Atlas, our browser, is I'm just double clicking and asking please explain to a layman.
Well, that is a great place to leave it. I think that everyone is on a learning journey with AI, even the head of international. Thank you, Oliver.
Thank you so much.